Hey folks, Nick here from another BookTube channel. Just this past week, we lost a real one. John Romita Sr. passed away. Absolute legend in the comics industry. So I thought, let's look at an issue of his that I really enjoy. Amazing Spider-Man number 60. I was going to show off ASM 42 originally, but I read through it, and it's a really good issue. It's the first appearance of Mary Jane Watson, but it wasn't as action packed as this one here. I really liked I really like this issue. I'm not a huge Spider-Man collector. I only have a handful of them, but I have this story arc. This is part two of a three-part arc. And this is my favorite of that three-part sequence in which Spider-Man is facing off against Kingpin. I love this great cover by Romita of Kingpin just absolutely yeeting Spider-Man, just swinging him around, getting ready to toss him. The just pure black background to focus on their figures. It's a great image. So let's pay some respects to John Romita Sr. by going through this issue. It is called Oh Bitter Victory. Interesting title. Written by Stan Lee with, of course, illustrations by John Romita with assists, probably inking and maybe just fill-ins from Don Heck and Mickey DeMeo. And we open, excuse me, we open with a great splash page of Kingpin taking a big monster swing at Spider-Man, who is doing a great acrobatic dodge. Excellent way to start your comic book. Kingpin misses Spider-Man, crashes into this, wall or machine or whatever, smashes it to bits. So we get to see as an audience, the impact that, oh god, we don't want this to get to Spidey because that'll really hurt him. What's happening here is Kingpin has been brainwashing Police Captain Stacy, Gwen Stacy's dad, to help him just get confidential information, get away with some crimes, stuff like that. And Spider-Man is trying to break that up. He's just discovered that plot, and he is approaching Kingpin, who's attacking him. And this is a great layout fight sequence of Spider-Man tripping up the Kingpin, getting their feet entangled, taking him down. Really feel the weight of his, landing. Really good lettering from, is it Sam Rosen? Yeah, Sam Rosen. But the sound effect hitting the ground, really in like the background as well, where it's just a solid color, but we're just getting speed lines and just these big whooshes to indicate that there's a lot of movement going on here. It's a really strong fight sequence, and this is the sequence here where Kingpin gets a hold of Spider-Man and starts swinging him around like we saw on the cover. Great contortionism, the way that Romita is able to, get Spidey into different positions. This is early enough. Spider-Man still has the webs under his arms. Yeah, I think this is 1966. No, it's probably 68 at this point. I think it's a little bit later. Yeah, and Kingpin throws him, and Spider-Man is able to kind of force the throw into a spot that is strategic to him. He is able to barrel into the brainwashing machine that the captain is currently hooked up to. So it shorts it out, causes it to kind of smoke, and gives a smoke screen for himself to escape and get away from the Kingpin, which we see he's done here. He's gone out the window and he's on the neighboring building. Unfortunately, the machine isn't actually completely broken, so they are continuing their brainwashing of the police chief. Really just dynamic layouts from Romita. Spider-Man is changing size each panel that we see him in. I mentioned that contortionism. He seems like he's a young acrobat. We could feel his buoyancy just bouncing off these walls. He really sells it very well. So we get more brainwashing. little bit. This is a scene set up from the previous issue where they're at a go-go like dance bar. I don't know, go-go dance club where Mary Jane Watson is dancing. Pete, Harry Osborn, and Gwen Stacy were at the club to support Mary Jane. This is something that John Romita brought to Spider-Man that Ditka was not as good at, which is beautiful women. I believe Romita had a background in romance comics, and it really shows with his really just beautiful faces. We see it on the women here. Great profile of Gwen Stacy. Love the look of Mary Jane. But the police chief comes back. He had been taken, obviously, by Kingpin to get brainwashed. And he returns now to put Gwen's mind at ease. She was worried about her dad. Spider-Man recovering from the fight with Kingpin, and he is seeing double of everything. So we're getting this double vision, and it causes him to not be able to effectively move around. So he dives for this pole, and he misses it because he reaches for the wrong one. He reaches for the Mirage. He's able to save himself, stick to the wall here, but he tries the web sling. He misses the building because he's seen double still. So he's having some trouble there. Decides to just take off the Spider-Man outfit, suit up as Peter Parker, just catch a cab home. And once Peter Parker gets home, he's sitting in bed. He's thinking about all of these, storylines that are haunting him, and he's saying everything was going my way. His Aunt May was getting better. Harry was my friend again. His relationship with Gwen Stacy was going really well. And now all this is popping up. Gwen Stacy's dad. What if he's not just a prisoner? What if he's been turned into an actual criminal by the Kingpin? What do I do then with my girlfriend's dad as the enemy? The girl that I love. And he shoots out of bed because it's the first time that he admitted to himself that he loves Gwen Stacy. And we get a shot here from the mirror where no solid lines around him to indicate that his vision is still a bit blurry, but he does say it's getting better, which I think is sort of a missed opportunity in this storyline. It would have been cool to see Spider-Man actually fight an enemy with this double vision where he's a little bit hamstrung. But it clears up before any of that happens. He goes to pay Gwen Stacy and her dad a visit, where Gwen's flirting with him. You didn't come here to see me. You came here to see my dad. It's not very flattering for me. And he's trying to play it cool. But Captain Stacy, brainwashed, is frustrated by this nosy teenager because he doesn't know Peter Parker is Spider-Man. But Peter Parker is asking about what happened at the nightclub because he says he witnessed a fight. So Captain Stacy goes to attack him because he's not happy about him being suspicious, and Peter defends himself, and he uses a little bit too much of his strength, knocks down the old man. First of all, just real quick, great background image, just the flirty body language of Gwen. Again, Romita's really great at these kind of romantic faces. Peter Parker's face in particular, right out of a romance comic, in my opinion. But obviously, Gwen is pissed because he knocked her dad over, and her dad's an old man. What are you doing, Peter? Don't deny it, or please, if I'm wrong, deny it. He can't deny it because he did actually knock him over. Wasn't intentional. He probably could have explained himself a little bit better here, but instead he chooses to just take the blame and leave with his tail between his legs. Goes home, and once he's gone, Captain Stacy calls the Kingpin in these great panels, just aggressive face, where he informs him that Peter Parker is nosing around, and Kingpin obviously isn't going to like that either. He tells his staff, his goons, his thugs, go find this Parker and take care of him, and so on this next page here, while Peter's out visiting his Aunt May, the thugs show up at him and Harry's apartment. Harry tries to stop them, but they bust in and they cause a commotion. They make a mess of everything. Harry tells him that these thugs were looking for you. So don't ask me what's going on. It's got to be something to do with you. And so Peter suits up as Spider-Man. He hits the city once again. Vision is restored. Get great just sequence of his mobility as Spider-Man, where he connects to the flagpole, swings around, pulls himself through. Great action shots. Love this sequence here again of just moving through the city, swinging in. He tracks down Captain Stacy, and he sees the thugs with him. And so Captain Stacy is walking them to the police station into the vault where like vital records are stored. And so Spider-Man, to kind of just keep himself, prove his innocence here, takes a picture of what's going on, and then swoops in, crashes through the window to stop before they can get away with vital documents. And the brainwashed police captain knocks Spidey over the head with his cane, so they're able to get away. But luckily, the camera caught everything, and Peter Parker is now, he's tormented because he's got this proof that he didn't really do anything wrong, and that the police captain, or this I think he's actually retired at this point, but I don't know, it doesn't matter, has committed some wrongdoing. So he's got these pictures, and he decides that the only way to try to take down the Kingpin is to reveal that one of his toys, the person he's got brainwashed, is compromised. So he goes to J. Jonah Jameson of the Daily Bugle, his boss, gives him the pictures, and the next morning in a special edition, it's front page news that retired Captain George Stacy photographed an act of stealing top secret data, and in big font, exclusive photo by Peter Parker as it's being read by Gwen, who is crying that she has been betrayed by her boyfriend in this way. Next up, the Web Titans. Really great issue. I need to read more books that Romita has drawn. Like I said, I'm not really a Spider-Man collector, but I do really like this book. So rest in peace to John Romita Sr. If you have a favorite book of his that he drew, a favorite issue, let me know in the comments. Let me know if there's anything about this issue that I missed. Thank you very much for spending some time with me today, but now it's time to get back to reading.